Hi there, everybody. It's Tracy. Have you ever wondered why you still feel connected to the narcissist in your life when they're not there anymore? Do you guys know about energetic cords, energy work, chakras? This is something that I started learning about probably about a year ago. And I went to a energy healer to get my chakras cleared. And I was so surprised that she knew about narcissists. So I talked to her a lot, and what I learned from her was that we have these energetic cords that attach to people in our life. And when someone has controlled you for a long time, it's almost like they're strings on a puppet, and you were the puppet. So I brought Rebecca here today to teach us about what she does and how we need to understand the power of energy, the power of healing that energy. And overall, we talked a lot about just healing. So sit back and relax and welcome Rebecca Mara to my show today. Thank you, Rebecca, for joining me.
Yes, it is my pleasure.
Yay. Well, I want to introduce you to my audience because you're here in the area where I live, and about a year ago, I went to visit you to get my chakras cleared, and you do energy work. And I know a lot of people out there in TV land or YouTube land aren't really familiar with the power of energy healing. So do you want to start off by giving us a little background on what energy is and how it affects us?
Yep. Let's see, there's so many different ways to look at it. It's energy healing basically has someone facilitating, allowing light to move through their system. It's sort of like plugging into an outlet that has a lot more force. And what it does is it starts to, it's so hard to describe because it's so kinesthetic to me. So energy work is when we are made out of energy, and different parts of our bodies will get stuck energy where there's emotion that's not expressed, or we'll get stuck energy where there's some kind of a consciousness that keeps looping, or it's not moving or flowing correctly. So it's sort of like all of us have these rivers in us of energy that's always flowing and moving. And then when it gets stuck because of a negative experience or negative behavior or thought or emotion, that energy gets stuck, and then there's a lot less flow in our system. So we don't feel as good, we might get sick. All of those things can happen when the energy flow stops.
Right. And then there's also the chakras. Mm-hmm. So I was just learning, I just read a book on chakras when I first contacted you. So do you want to explain that? And then we'll tie the whole thing together into narcissists.
Yep, perfect. So the chakras are mostly 7 different energy centers in the body, and they're vortexes. So they're actually in cone shapes. So what they do is they draw in energy into our bodies from outside. And they have a certain spin to them. They have kind of like I'll do the throat. So it has a centerpiece here. It comes out in kind of a cone, and then it spins. And when it when it's closed, there's very little energy that comes in and out here. So in each of those centers, it's supposed to draw in energy so that it fills up our body with life force.
Right. I know you mentioned the throat chakra, and I remember that when people are stuck, if that place is not flowing correctly, it's because we haven't been able to speak up or something like that, right?
Or express emotion. Yep. It's when you don't have the opportunity, which is a great segue for what happens with narcissist relationships.
Yeah.
When you're not able to express anger or your opinion or your feelings, because you'll be punished more or less. You'll either be cut off from love, or someone will yell at you or control you or whatever that is. People stop the energy flow here so that they can't express themselves anymore. Make sense?
Yeah, and I've read another book that was just on how when we hold those feelings and emotions inside, it can actually like create sickness. It can make you have throat trouble. So, you know, everything that we have is connected to our chakras, which is connected to what's going on in our life. And I remember laying on your table and talking with you about right off probably the bat on narcissists. And you said that every time that you see someone who has been in an abusive relationship with someone like this, you can almost tell where it's going to be in their body.
Yeah. Yep. There are certain patterns that happen. And so the throat, for example, would be when someone's really controlled and their emotions are controlled and their self-expression is controlled, and it's not welcomed, like whatever their truth is or whatever is true for them, then this is usually blocked. There's some kind of a clog here. And that can result in sore throats and held back emotion and lots of stuff up there. I'm trying to think of what else. In the narcissistic thing, generally, you can't see it right here, but in the solar plexus, right above the navel is a chakra that is our power center. And when someone is under control of a narcissist, they tend to control us from our power center. So, you know, when someone kind of energetically or verbally attacks you, you feel this like kind of punch in the gut feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be a narcissist controlling your energy field by it sort of controls your sense of power by giving you that sack in the gut kind of feeling so that you respond and behave the way that they want you to.
Wow. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I know that there are energy cords because I remember you saying it, and then I went home and did an energy cord cutting kind of a thing, a meditation. So I want to talk about energy cords and how they get entangled when we're with a narcissist.
Yeah. Okay. I would say that, so definitely in that solar plexus area, so like right above the belly button, that's one place where there tend to be a lot of cords. And what happens for the victim of that narcissistic relationship is they're used to having people manipulate them to some extent, or they're used to submitting in order to please the other person.
Right.
And so these codependent cords start developing between the narcissist and then what do you want to call the victim of
Survivor.
So between the narcissist and the survivor has an opening in their, let's say, their psychological field as well as their energy field it's used to being open instead of protected. So they're used to being violated, right?
Right.
And because of that, they're going to keep attracting the same pattern over and over again because there's this opening that says it's like a marker. You know how you keep attracting the same narcissist over and over again. It's like an energetic marker where it's open and it's like, hi, I'm waiting for someone to control me. And then the narcissist is like, sweet, I'm looking for someone to control. And then there's that codependent pattern there. And the reason why that opening could be there in the first place is that growing up in childhood, you were used to not being able to have healthy boundaries. Like you were used to a parent controlling you or criticizing you, or you having to please them, or you having to caretake their emotions so that you didn't have the opportunity to have your own boundaries or to have your own needs.
Right.
So that's what might originate with that, or that's what might create that original pattern.
And then how do we, I know that these cords can really entangle us. And a lot of people come to me and they're just like, I know what he or she has done is terrible, but I still love them and I'm worried about them. And I think I can still help them because I'm seeing this nice part of them. And so these cords are so connected and wrapped around us. So how does someone like yourself help people? break this kind of bond energetic?
Right. The first part probably has something to do with giving that person a sense of what they feel like just what you yourself feels like without anyone else around. It's having a sense of your own power, or what it would feel like to have your own power, where it's like, oh, I get to choose what I feel, or I get to choose how someone talks to me or how they treat me. So it's first you have to kind of establish what it would feel like to not have to say yes to whatever someone wants you to do. That might be a first step.
Okay.
And it's also allowing yourself to feel like you have permission to have a no, or having permission to want whatever you want, or be the way that you are. It's kind of feeling in your body what it might be like to have that kind of freedom without worrying about a consequence or worrying about anybody else. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. It's starting to feel again, feeling yourself, feeling, where you are, and almost separating their energy from your energy. And I know that sometimes we try to control the narcissist in a way. And this is usually, I would say, in the sort of angry, I'm going to get them back. I want them to pay. I want them to understand what they did to me. People are just like on this, I wouldn't say it's revenge, but it's something that keeps us connected, right?
Those are the hooks.
The
so
hooks.
It's partly, I call it karmic, but it's also a psychological hook, where as long as you don't accept that person is what they are and that they're going to behave the way that they do, or as long as you don't accept that that what's happened has happened, you're going to have a hook, which is an attempt to control the situation, which is like, I'll never forgive them, like they need to pay for this, or I'm not letting go until they really hear me. One day, maybe they're going to hear me. Maybe one day they'll listen to me. Maybe one day they'll see me. I'm still holding out, even though it's never, ever happened.
Right.
So once people can let go of those attempts to control what's happened, either by being a victim and being like, yeah, I'm this and this and this and this happened, you're still letting that person have power over you by running it through your system as though it's present time,
Exactly. And it is very much living in yesterday. We're not moving on, and we're losing today, because if we're just like not looking at our lives in the future, we're not looking at our future without them, and creating a new life, because that's the most fearful part of all of this. If you've been married for 40 years or 12 years or 4 years, and how will I survive? So they've got all this fear and this anger, but what's happening with that is you're carrying them on your back, because you've got this sort of revenge as you're driving, and you're like, rawr, and that's just bringing them along for the ride.
And that's what you call an unhealthy internal boundary, because you don't have a boundary with yourself. So when you're having those thoughts or those reactions, you're actually hurting yourself every time you do it. So that's not very self-honoring.
I know.
And you might actually separate yourself from that relationship, and you're like, yeah, I'm free. I left this terrible person. But the thing is that you're not free.
Yeah.
Because you're still living as a victim. That the energy isn't liberated. You're not like, hey, I deserve to be loved. I deserve good things. And I really want that for myself. I'm willing to invite that for myself.
Right.
That would be the healthier response. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's a response that they have to get to. They have to feel that they're entitled to be happy, and they're done with this. I have a really good meme on Pinterest that says there's a lot of happiness after I don't give a shit. Once you reach the point where I don't care what he's doing, whatever, then your life becomes free, because now you're not worrying whether they're there, or they're happy, or the new person is getting a better him than you got, or if she is doing this or that. When you release all the thoughts of them and the anger, and bring in forgiveness, bring in grace, bring in just happiness for yourself.
Yeah.
That's when we can heal.
Yeah. And it's also really important to have a distinction between cognitive healing and something that's actually embodied. So that means that the energy has actually changed. That's when you know the healing has happened. So,
how do we know?
Thank you for asking. So if you're telling yourself, wow, I deserve love, or let's just say you're telling yourself, I deserve love, and you're walking around, you're going, I deserve love. It could only be happening in the cognitive level, and that's how most people create change. But in their body, they're still like, I don't know if anyone will ever love me. There isn't the feeling of I'm lovable. Mm-hmm. So what you need to do is use your imagination. So I think a lot of healing here comes with imagination in order to actually transform the energy. Like, what would it feel like if I actually was loved? What would it feel like if it was totally okay for me to feel however I feel and say whatever I have to say? So you have to imagine and try on what that would feel like in your body, as though it was really happening. And then you can have a thought that matches it.
Mm-hmm. So you're training your mind.
Yeah.
And your body.
Yep. So sometimes I call that it can be a kinesthetic visualization, where you have kind of an image of that new version of yourself,
mm-hmm.
But you have to feel it in the body too. So when you can feel that feeling in the body as though it's real, and you might have to kind of use your imagination, like, when was the last time I felt really lovable? Oh, there was that one time. And you can use that one time as a way for you to remember what it feels like and create that feeling in your body.
Nice.
Right there. And so it might be a daily meditation, even if it's 5 minutes a day, imagining what it feels like to truly not carry any weight, to truly be liberated. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think everybody that has, had, like, maybe if they've had a narcissistic parent, and they have had this, like, shell, like we're a turtle, and we have had this shell around us that wasn't real. We didn't know how to express ourselves. We caught the narcissist again, and they treated us the same way. So when we can, like, just take baby steps out of that shell, take baby steps to find ourselves and fall in love with ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's where your energy is really going to change.
Yep. And it starts with a lot of imagination. Like, I know that on this journey, it can seem really hard, or like you have to work hard to fix yourself or change yourself, but it doesn't, we don't want it to feel hard. We want it to feel good, where it's like, oh, let me see what it's like if I felt lovable, or let me see what it's like let me just imagine what it's like if someone really cared about whatever I had to say, or what would it feel like if I just got to be any way that I am and feel loved? So it can be a playful imagination instead of, I got to work hard at this. That's not fun.
Yeah, no, that kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah. Healing can be fun. And it's that learning to kind of imagine something that feels good for you and to bring that feeling into your own body is a really good empowerment thing, because then your ego can see, oh my God, I had the power to change this feeling in like 5 seconds. Yeah. And then you start getting this positive reinforcement.
And I think for people too, I'm always telling them, when they're trying to find themselves and change this, energetic change, this entire lifestyle change. Mm-hmm. When you're imagine what you like to do. Mm-hmm. People who have been, snuffed down for so long, they don't even remember. So imagine, whatever your passion was. If you like to hike, all right, I'm skiing with my new person, and I'm enjoying life, and nobody's yelling at me because I'm going too slow, or, just, and take that part out, but enjoy the ride as you're going down the ski slope in your imagination, because you love to do that. You know, if you like to run, just imagine just having no burdens and no cares with the thing that you used to love, and find those passions again, and then go out and run and go out and ski, and, you know, take back the thing that you lost, because that's how you find yourself. I actually have been giving out this week. I had a meeting last night in Boulder and one last week in Arvada. For those of you who are listening in UK, they're here in Colorado. And I handed everybody, and I don't have one with me, but I handed everybody a marble. Mm-hmm. And I told them that it's from the Peter Pan movie and Hook, where the old man lost his marbles. And his marbles, everyone thought he was crazy. He's walking around, he lost his marbles. But he was one of the lost boys back on Neverland. And what those marbles were was his happiness and their joy and their passions. Mm-hmm. And so I gave everyone a marble to start collecting, to find something that they love. And if they can't, just hold on to that marble like I'm holding on to this rock right now, and hold on to and see it. Imagine that fun and grace.
Yep. Yep. It's like I do that with people all the time. It really helps people come back to life when they're like, I don't even know who I am. And it's sort of like, you are what you love. And you find those things that you used to love, and then you keep feeding them, and you keep discovering, what is it that I love? And that's when you start to get a better sense of self again.
Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah. All right. Is there anything else about narcissists and energy fields that we missed? Because we kind of went off on the self-love thing, which is great. Because
there's one other, since you were talking about movies, there's another movie analogy that I like to use.
Okay.
The movie Labyrinth with David Bowie from back in the day. He has this whole seduction thing for this young woman. He creates this whole world for her, right? And she's like, wow, I'm special. He wants me, right? But she's a possession, and the whole world is under his control. And so she's always kind of wandering around in this maze and can't find what she really needs, because he's trying to keep her from getting what she actually wants, but he wants her to stay mesmerized in that labyrinth. So there's this point at the end where she's in this, you know, he's making this beautiful ball for her, and they're dancing, and she looks gorgeous, but something doesn't feel right. And all of a sudden she starts to remember something, and she's looking down, and she's like, oh, you have no power over me. And the whole world shatters, and he's like, no.
I can picture.
Yeah, it just starts shattering, and she all of a sudden regains her power, and she finds her way out of this labyrinth. So this is so much of what happens with anybody that has control over us. It's like all of a sudden we wake up from this dream and realize that person actually doesn't have power over us, and that we get to choose how we respond to it.
Yeah. I'm going to up you on one movie, since we're doing a movie game here. It's late at night. Everyone can see it's dark back there. Yeah. The movie is The Wizard of Oz. Mm-hmm. And she clicks her heels, and she had the power all along, right? Yes. That's exactly what this was. Your story, my story. We had it. We just have to find it again.
Yeah, definitely. And that comes from curiosity.
Exactly. So I want to thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I hope that people can look up, if they're looking for someone like you. So let's say they're in New York or Miami. How do they find someone that does energy work? What is it like? You go to the internet and go, energy lady? I don't know. How do they find someone like you?
Most people would search for Reiki. It's spelled Reiki. Or they could look for, if they Google the word chakra, or chakra balancing, chakra clearing, it's CHAKRA. But you'll be able to start finding energy healers.
Nice. Good. And if they're in the Boulder area, We will make sure that your information is down below so that they can find you. All of Colorado can come see you because there's plenty of victims here too. So we'll get them in there to give you some energy healing, and I can attest to it. When I walked out of her office, I didn't know why, but I felt a whole lot better. It was like I was just free. These cords, these things that were holding me down were suddenly gone. Like someone just cut them off. I'm like a paper doll. They were gone. And so I can thank you so much for the work that you did on me and with me. And hopefully we will enlighten a lot more people here in YouTube land.
That sounds wonderful.
Great. Thanks for having me.